everyone, I am Liana with Music Academy International Inc. and welcome to the greatest piano channel on the internet, period. So in this video, I'm gonna do question and answer series. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. I piled up here lots of questions from your emails and from Facebook and from Instagram and from the Patreon site. So we're having very important questions that needs to be answered correctly from my perspective. So I'm having here question number 1, how to find the right song for me? Good question. Number 2, how to set goals? Very good question. How to practice slow? That's a really good question. Slow and more slow. How to break up the score? Very important. Let's do that. What kind of teacher do I need? Do I need one? Okay, we will see. Then we're having here, how long should I practice? How to learn quick a piece? Okay, we all want quick. Yes, that's gonna come. What to practice in a session? That's good, in a practice session. Then we're having coordination exercises for beginners. Absolutely. Why should I play scales? We're gonna get through it. Why arpeggios and why versions? Why should I learn about arpeggio and inversions? What the heck are them? So we're gonna go there. Chord practice, practice exercise, and ultimately I have one more, classical pieces that I believe you should learn and why. Alright? You like that, right? So give me a like and let's get going with number 1. Hello everyone and welcome to part 6 on our questions and answers, and I'm very blessed to have you here. This question comes from Felipe. I hope I'm saying right. And he's from Colombia. I'm like, okay. I love to, to spread all around, from all over the globe. They're asking me from different countries, and I love this. I hope you understand my accents. And let's talk about it. Right? So, how long should I practice? I'm going to divide this question, very good question, absolutely good question, in 2 parts. So first of all, it's about the kids and then for adults. Okay. So when you are a kid and then you are a parent and you want to guide your kid, a lot of times I'm having parents like some that pushing it too much to the student to go and practice, and some they're not saying anything and they expect the kid 6 years old to just go there and practice, and that's either way doesn't quite go. Okay, so if you are a parent and then your child is 6, 7, 8, even 9 years old, up to around 10 or 11, by 11 you gotta say less and less. But if they are 6, you need to remind them that they do have piano to practice. So usually a piano lesson goes only 1 time a week. So you will have a week to practice on your own. So with the students that they have, 6 years old, it's obviously you need to build in like a habit, like you brush your teeth, right? You need to tell them every single day, twice a day or whatever times a day, to do that, right? So even with the piano, even though the child wants to play the piano but forgets because there are other distractions. And by the way, for an adult to not forget, put that distraction, the cell phone away when you practice. By the way, right? So yes, create a time. I would start for a 6 years old at least 15 minutes a day, and then after 2-3 months you know, you go 20, you go 25, and rapidly increase to 30 minutes a day, okay? And this should go to all elementary 30 and then 45 minutes a day, right? So whatever, it's very, very important in piano practicing, it's the consistency. I did say it before in other videos, but consistency for me is more important than how long you should practice a day. Because out of 7 days a week, think that one time you're coming to piano, one time maybe you go, you know, weekend somewhere, and you're not going to practice because you have your family day together with, you know, with the other siblings or so. But then remains those 5 days in which I would say it's really important. If you only practice 3 times a week, it's going very slow. If you practice 4 times a week, it's somehow medium. From 5 times a week, it's huge difference because it's statistic, and you need to tell to the brain about 5 times in order to retain. So piano, it needs to be do it repetition and repetition in order of the knowledge to go in a long-term memory, just not only right now, you know, as sometimes in school you do quizzes and you learn a quiz, and then in 3 weeks it's out, totally out, the entire information you don't even remember. So in piano, the information needs to be retained on a long term. It's like a computer, and it needs to be put there in a hardware, not software, in a literally hardware, in a processing system. So that needs to be repeated and repeated again. So consistency, it's more important of how long. But on the same time with the children, it needs to, you know, create, as a parent, create like, oh, let's go and have fun and play that song for me couple of times, you know. Did you have fun? Where you messed up? Ah, it's good. Let's see how many times are you gonna mess up. That's okay. Do it again. Let's see how many times it takes you to not mess up, you know, and do it like a game, you know. So don't push it. You must practice, because that's not gonna work, and then the student is gonna hate it. But not be light either and say, oh, that's okay if you didn't practice. You can practice tomorrow. I know, darling, you are so tired right now. I know. Don't worry about piano. Well, no, I need support from you parents. So it would be nice if you, even if the student is very, very tired, you still can say, play me that old song that you played it last week and you loved it so much. Just play for me 1 or 2 times, and it's still something. Even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, you know, it's still something, you know, it's important. It's like you're doing your homework every day. It needs to be built in from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Now it depends of your child. If it's, you know, with some attention problem, you go 5 minutes at a time, and then you do something else, and then bring it back another 5 minutes, and then you would do something else, and then you bring it back to the piano in another set of 5 minutes. That is working as well. So it's not necessary to do 15 minutes, just stay there and don't move. So you're working with whatever you have, so be flexible. Now, as adults, it's a different situation here. I would say again, consistency is absolutely, it remains the same. 5 times a week, I would say that would be really good for you to do it. Right now, I said sometimes, you know, with the adults again, if you didn't practice for 20 years and you want to come back, start with something that it's easy for you to achieve. If it's necessarily half an hour and you think, oh, half an hour, it's gonna be a good thing to achieve, and it's not hard, right? So you don't want to make it hard for you. You need to make it an enjoyable journey. So practice, just pick half an hour, you know, If it's just 20 minutes today, it's gonna be 20 minutes, and tomorrow you're gonna do half an hour, and maybe during the weekend you're gonna do 40 minutes. Okay, but again, every single day is important. Once you go in a routine, and you're doing it mostly every day, then you absolutely gonna increase. In 6 months it might be an hour, it might be an hour and 15 minutes, but some days it could be half an hour, and some days it could be two sets of 45 minutes, and now we're having an hour and a half. Like on Sunday you go and play in the morning half an hour. You might want to do your scales and your fingers exercise, or if you have journey or something, and that's already half an hour. And then you go and then you enjoy your Saturday or Sunday, and then you come in the evening and you do your piece for another half an hour or 45 minutes, and that's how you will have an hour and a half. So work with your schedule and work with yourself. I used to have a student, she was from Korea, very, ambitious lady. And actually she would walk up in the morning at like 4:30. That was, for me, it's unbelievable, because I don't know if I would have that discipline. I'm not quite there, right? But she would wake up in the morning, practice half an hour piano first thing in the morning at 4:30. Can you imagine that? Her name was Ginger, by the way. Ginger Milheim. So if she's, listening this, she's gonna be like, oh my God, right? And then she would go to the gym for an hour, and then she would come at 6:30 and wake up the entire family and prepare everybody for breakfast, for school and stuff like that. Send the kids, two boys. She was having two boys at at school, and then she would go to work. Right, by 8 o'clock she would be finally at work. Right, and guess when we were doing her piano lesson? We were doing her piano lesson in her lunchtime. She she was working close to my studio, like 10 minutes, 7 minutes away driving. So she would come at 12 o'clock ready to hit the piano and to play it, right, in her lunchtime. And then she would go back, and usually her kids, they will come, and they will do like 5 to 6 or 5 to 6 and a half, 6:30, the piano lesson. And she would come, the husband would bring them here, and then she would come from work and pick them up from the piano. That's kind of discipline. I bet at 8 o'clock probably she was like dead in bed, tired, like dead tired, just dinner and done. But so it takes cooperation, depends of how you are. As I said, sometimes days are harder with more responsibilities, and some they are not as much. So work with yourself. Even though you are very tired, do kind of fingers exercise or whatever your teacher recommends, for just moving the fingers, or just playing a little bit. Even if you are a little bit tired, just go with the flow. It's like going with at the gym. You don't think, you just go. And then you feel good and say, oh, I did this too today, like, at least, even if it's only 20 minutes on the treadmill, and you still moved your, and the body is working, and is like still an accomplishment. So try to do that 20 minutes fingers exercise. Yeah, right. So this would go into our next subject. How should we practice? Not only how long should we practice. So again, for me, the most important thing is consistency. 5 times, in a week. Uh, Pick a time that is good for you, and then increase another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes. Like, you might even double it up in 6 months, and keep on going. If it's happening to not practice for 3, 4, 5 days, don't do 3 hours in one day. Just be indulgent with you and say, well, this week I didn't practice for 3 days. That's okay. or you go on a vacation. Enjoy your vacation for a week, you know. It's all okay. You're coming back re-energized, and that's all good. And then you start again. Right? I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe if you consider that this one is helpful for you, and like the video, ask me more questions, and become part of my Patreon family. You still my family, and be the Patreon family, because without you I cannot, you know, do as much as I can. I need your support, and I know I have your love. Okay. Thank you so much. And the next one is gonna be how to practice in a session of practice. Okay, that's gonna be, I believe, number 7. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna do about 15 of those. Thank you so much. Love you.